paranoid jealousy can get in the way of that deeply. It can deeply cut into trust.
In my head.
Hey everybody, it's Ryan Liberty and I'm out in the woods again. Today we're talking about whether paranoid jealousy is destroying your relationship. It could be you, it could be your partner. Let's talk about what this is and how we can tackle it. So when we're talking about paranoid jealousy, we have to be a little bit careful about what we're talking about. There is something else that looks like it that I'll get to a little bit later, but when it comes to paranoia, we have delusions and we have ideas of paranoia, and there's a big difference between the two. Paranoid ideation, that's ideas of paranoia. That's when you feel like something is going on and you feel jealous of a partner or somebody in your life, and so you think that they're cheating on you, you think that they're unfaithful or something, but when it's challenged, when you find evidence to the contrary, you can kind of relax back into it and say like, okay, that's just the way I'm feeling. It's not what's actually happening. Now, a delusion of reference is much more strongly held of a belief, and when somebody presents you evidence to the contrary, you can't give up that belief. So the first thing you got to do is distinguish, are these delusions that are happening, or are they ideas that are happening? Ideas of jealousy or delusions of jealousy, because depending on which one it is, you'll approach it differently. Obviously, if they're ideas of jealousy, then you can challenge them by looking for evidence of what's going on and looking for evidence of whether your partner is faithful or not, and having other people maybe reassure you, yeah, I think you're right about this, or no, that's really doesn't seem like what's going on. Obviously, you don't want to use other people as your 100% guide, and that's why you use many different people, but looking for evidence, keeping a journal, keeping a log of it should be enough to kind of quell your fears and get you to realize, yeah, this person really is a dirtbag and I need to get away from them and end this relationship, or maybe I'm a little feeling anxious about something and this isn't right. Now, if what you or somebody else is experiencing is a delusion, that gets a little bit more complicated, and what you really want to do is maybe get them in to see a therapist and possibly get them on an antipsychotic, because this could be a symptom of bipolar mania, it could be a symptom of schizophrenia, schizotypal personality disorder, and that's something that's a little bit more serious than just talking it out and figuring it out. Now, I don't want to freak anybody out. Schizotypal personality disorder typically deals with ideas of reference, and again, all these things can be managed. There's nothing to worry so much about here, but my issue is that I want to see you getting the care that you need or the care that your loved one needs, and I want to see you having a happy and healthy relationship, because relationships rely on trust, they rely on vulnerability, they rely on empathy, and paranoid jealousy can get in the way of that deeply. It can deeply cut into trust and make us feel like our relationship is not on a solid foundation and we can't feel comfortable with our partner. Now, I mentioned there's another kind of jealousy that could be going on here, and that would be obsessional jealousy. Obsessional jealousy can be pretty common actually in a relationship where we start to doubt what's going on. Now, with obsessional jealousy, there's typically a lot of anxiety. It's ego dystonic. You don't feel so good about yourself and you don't feel good about your situation. But over and over and over again, you have this racing thought in your head of what's going on. Are they cheating on me? Are they going to leave me? Is the relationship in trouble? Did I do something wrong? And then because of these feelings, we start to get really suspicious and we start looking into their personal objects. We look into their phone to see what they're doing. We try to get into their email. We try to chase down every little thing that they're doing to try to figure out what's going on. And even if we question them repeatedly because we just aren't sure. Sometimes we see this kind of behavior right before a breakup's coming, or maybe during or after a breakup, because it's a very stressful time. And when people get stressed out, they start to feel a little obsessive. They start to try to figure out what's going on and to try to understand why they're so stressed out. If there's somebody who has post-traumatic stress disorder from being in a previous abusive relationship, or if this relationship itself was abusive, then you're going to have an overwhelming amount of stress, and you're going to feel like a need to try to make it feel safe, and perhaps feeling like you have information about what's going on makes you think that you're going to be safer somehow. Unfortunately, when it comes to obsessional jealousy, it's an obsession. It's not necessarily founded on some kind of evidence that something's going on, and no amount of evidence is going to reassure you, because what you're really avoiding is the fear that it's actually happening. That's why the thoughts are running around over and over and over in your head, is because even if you have evidence, there's that little doubt in there that says, but maybe, possibly, maybe I missed something, And that's what the obsession is, and that's what you have to deal with to get rid of the jealous feelings. No amount of evidence is going to change it. Typically, when it comes to feelings like this, like obsessive compulsive disorder, you deal with it through exposure and response prevention, which is really just saying that you allow those scary thoughts to exist in your head and you allow those scary feelings to exist in your body, and you slowly expose yourself to them and let that possibility sink in, that it's possible that this person has cheated, it's possible that you may break up, and feel it and feel what it feels like. That doesn't mean that it's going to happen, and that's part of the problem with obsessive compulsive disorders, is sometimes we believe that our thoughts are going to make something happen. If we believe it, then it's true and it will happen to us, but that's not the case. And if this is something that you have a lot of trouble with, or your partner has a lot of trouble with, you may want to go and see a therapist who can slowly walk you through this. They're not going to throw you in on the first day and make you do it, but they will gradually hold your hand and walk you through it, and it won't be so scary. So what it really comes down to is that any kind of paranoid jealousy, obsessional jealousy, is not good for a relationship, and you want to deal with it as quickly as you can. The way that you would do this typically is to talk with your partner and have open discussions about what's going on. Try to see if evidence reassures either one of you that what you suspect is going on is not going on. And if it is going on, then let that evidence stand for itself and leave the relationship and accept that. And if you need help doing that, of course, a therapist will be able to do that with you. It may also be helpful to get a couples therapist on board to have an outside perspective on everything. And of course, individual therapists will help if you need medication for something like a schizophrenia spectrum aspect to this. Do me a favor, please, and subscribe if you want to learn more about this and more about your own mental health. I have over 250 videos here on this channel. I just keep making them because I care about you having the best mental health possible and having happy and healthy relationships. My mission here for my channel is to help humanize mental health, and if you're on board with that mission, you can join me over on Patreon. I'll put the link above and support me over there. It's important that you know that you're not alone in dealing with this, and if you're somebody who's gone through this or is currently experiencing this, whether it's you or your partner, please leave a comment down below about your experience so that we can all learn from each other. As always, I'd like to thank you for joining me, and I'll see you around next time, everyone.